Contrary to popular belief, I do a little more than just stay at home and write. Salutations! Welcome to Learning the Language of Literacy. My name is Sophia Lee, and so I'll be telling you 13.1 reasons why NaNoWriMo is like running a half marathon. I know the stereotypical idea of a writer is that they stay at home, being introverted, they're usually pretty out of shape, and they don't do much besides writing. In order to actually get inspiration and to be able to write, you have to get outside and interact with the world, and then one of the ways I personally do that is running. I know you know a lot about me with the NaNoWriMo who, what, when, where, why, how, as well as how to win NaNoWriMo before you even begin videos, but you may not know about how I got into running. I started running in 5th grade when I legitimately did not want to fail in PE. 80% of our grade in PE was doing these 20-minute runs, and to get an A or above in the class, you pretty much needed a consistent 8-9 laps or more, which, to be honest, is only around 1.75 miles. And I made my way from only running 5 laps to 13 by the end of the year. Throughout the years, I've participated in various 5Ks and 10Ks. In my running career, which hasn't been that long, I have accomplished 3 10-mile races. And on the 18th of October of this year, I did my very first half marathon, which is, of course, 13.1 miles, and it was the Empire State Half Marathon. If you live in the Syracuse, Central New York area, I would highly recommend it for your very first half. It's pretty much flat the entire way. There's a lot of people there to cheer you on. It's just a straight shot, 6.6 miles out there and 6.6 miles back. And I did win 2nd place in my age category, which was females 18 and under, so whoop-de-doo for me. And for the record, the first place person was actually 18, and I'm not, so yeah. Let's just get into the actual advice part of the video. Mile number 1. Training is most definitely advised. In order to accomplish either things, NaNoWriMo or half marathon, you truly do need a base. Before you even commit to the idea of accomplishing either, you have to be able to write at least a few hundred words, and you have to be able to do long runs of at least 6 miles, and then definitely building up more as you go on in your training program. Of course, there are people who are absolutely insane who can just jump into it without any training whatsoever. I would not recommend this for the half marathon. You can sometimes get away with it for NaNoWriMo. I've heard a lot of stories of people saying October 30th, October 31st, I'm gonna do NaNoWriMo. But ultimately, whether you're a pantser or a plotter, or a first-time half marathoner, or even this is like your 50th, you most likely need some foundation. Even if it's not a necessity, it really is just a necessity for your own personal comfort and for your survival, both in a metaphorical and actually literal sense in the half marathon. Mile number 2, the only way to get better is by doing it. And yes, that is the very painful truth. The only way to get better at writing well in terms of quality and writing a lot in terms of quantity, which you need a sort of combination of in NaNoWriMo, is just by doing it. And the same with running. You can't skip out on your tempo workouts, the intervals, the long runs, and the cross training. You can read 1,000 blog posts on either of them on how to train, on how to run your best, on how to write creatively, and how to get inspiration. But you have to actually go out and experience life. You have to actually train, and no one else is going to do it for you. I mean, I suppose someone could do your entire outline for you, but that, again, that would not end up with a very good story. Mile 3. Diversify your workout. Don't just stick to roads, don't just stick to trails, don't stick to any particular surface that you're comfortable with. Don't stick to the same speed either, because every single thing helps. For example, tempo runs help with your lactate threshold, and intervals help with your VO2 max, and every single part of it is beneficial. You may be a strictly fiction writer, but I guarantee you if you explore any other of the genres, maybe even essay writing or book reviewing or poetry or playwriting, it will influence your fiction and only make it better. In the long run, it will most definitely help just your style and the way it flows and the actual way you approach writing itself. Mile number 4. You've got what it takes, but it will take everything you've got. This is actually a mantra I started chanting to myself on my 2nd cross-country race of this season, but it was just the most terrible day. I think it was the worst race of my entire season. It was around 85 degrees. The actual route for the race was hell. It was like the same frickin' hill 3 times that I grew to hate by the end of it, and that's what I just kept chanting to myself. You know through your training, you know from your teammates, you know from your coach that you have exactly what it takes to finish. It will take all your reserve energies, it'll take all the training, it will take who you are to finish that race. The same goes with NaNoWriMo, because I will guarantee you there will be a point in the month, whether it's the 3rd day or the 23rd, where you're thinking it's absolute hell. You're thinking, why is it worth it? And those days will come in the month and you just have to expect it. But the point is, you know you've gotten this far, you only have a little bit to go. And when you get to the point of mind, you might just want to actually step back from NaNoWriMo. You can't do that in a race, but you can definitely do that in NaNoWriMo. Number 5, cross-training is absolutely fantastic. For running, obviously I mean biking, swimming, any kind of upper body workout, maybe going to the gym for some strength training. And it will benefit all parts of your body, because whether you think you are or not, you're not just using your legs to run. You're using your head, you're using your lungs, you're using all these other muscles, you're using your stomach, for goodness sakes, when you have to break down all the calories you've ingested. And in terms of cross-training with writing, don't just stick to this particular rut of how you write and how you approach it, but just change it up. I mean, like, go outside and write for once. Maybe not in, like, upstate New York because it's snow. Don't stick to the same time of day. Maybe have a larger chunk, maybe have a shorter chunk, maybe do a word sprint, maybe not. And it will most definitely impact your writing. Excuse me while I drink my tea. Okay, quick FYI from the writer part of me. I tried out Celestial Seasonings Echinacea tea and it is freaking fantastic. Mile number 6. Get used to being uncomfortable. It's not going to be fun 90% of the time in your training, in the actual race itself. You're pushing your body to the absolute limit. It's not natural, and you have to get used to it, because if you think it's gonna be a cakewalk, if you're gonna wait for the perfect weather every time, you might as well not even try to run. You're not gonna want to put down those words. You're gonna want to go to Netflix. You're gonna want to go to YouTube. You're gonna want to open up a freaking book and read. But you can't do that, and you just have to get used to pounding out the words. And I guarantee you, one word after another, you will get to 50K. Mile number 7. Accessories are nice, but they're not necessary. I'm referring to Fitbits and fancy headbands and pouches and energy gels and like everything else you could possibly have with you and on you while you run. Yes, they are very nice. Yes, GPS watches are also very beneficial to your actual pacing, but sometimes you just want to turn it off because you don't want to be pressured by the clock. And sometimes, especially for your very first half marathon, just don't run with a watch. I personally did that and I made my time that I wanted, as well as just had a much clearer head throughout the entire thing. So I lost like 30 seconds of footage right here, so I'm just going to start this spiel right now. With writing, the whole idea of accessories is slightly different just because there are things like pen and paper that you could use, or something just as complex as Pages or Word or even Scrivener. And with writing, there's a lot of different things, little gadgets and gizmos like name generators. There's a lot that can be done digitally and on the computer for accessories and things that will supposedly help you in your writing. But the gist of it is, as long as you're getting down the words, no matter how you're doing it, whether you're typing on your phone, and I know people who have done this, or you're on your laptop, or you're actually writing on pen and paper, accessories, yes, they're very nice, and I benefit so much from Scrivener. But in the end, you can do the same exact thing with some index cards and a corkboard. Mile number 8. Writing buddies / running partners for the win. It's gonna get hard, and when you have someone who's already your friend by itself without the sport or the actual activity involved, it's a really great foundation. It will both strengthen your relationship as long as you don't get too competitive, and it will just help as you motivate each other. For example, I have this one girl on my cross-country team. Sometimes one of us will be having a better day than the other. Sometimes one of us will fly through the finish. Sometimes one of us will just slog through it. But the thing is, we push each other and we motivate each other, and with the entire cross-country team and experience, you have people that are genuinely rooting for you, whether you're number 1 on the team or number 25. I'm a lot closer to number 25 than number 1, by the way. The whole point of NaNoWriMo is it's a social experience. You can write a novel any time of the year. It's all arbitrary. But the thing is, we have people from all over the entire world who are participating. Talk to them, do word sprints with them, lament to them, commiserate with them. That's what they're there for. Mile number 9. Running and writing are both completely trial and error. Whether it's the process, whether it's the accessories, whether it's how you're doing things, or what you're actually writing and putting down on paper, it goes back to the whole you have to do it to actually get any results, and you have to just experiment and find out what works for you. But basically, do you and Good job for being you. Mile number 10, and I've mentioned this before in writing videos, but that is find your why. You are not doing this for someone else. You are not doing it for just the bragging rights. You are not doing this for any one reason. You have to draw into the deep reserves of yourself and who you are to accomplish either of these tasks, because it just takes sheer mental willpower. You have to say no, whether it's to fat food, greasy stuff, overly sweet stuff, or whether it's no to hanging out with friends or prioritizing differently. You have to be prepared to give up a lot, and you can't do it for no reason. You can't do it for a wimpy reason. You have to find your why and reach deep into yourself. Otherwise, there's no point of doing either, and you won't have the result. Mile number 11, value your rest days. I can't stress this enough, but when you have the opportunity to rest, when you're given the chance to rest, when it's even in your training schedule, do it. And obviously this translates a little bit differently for NaNoWriMo. I know for this entire video I've been saying you have to put aside everything else to write, but when it comes down to it, let's say you have your 1667 for the day, but you could write more. Sometimes, definitely not all the time, because it is very good to get ahead in NaNoWriMo, but sometimes give in to your little treat, give in to your little excursion, because it will help you and refuel you and re-energize you so you can come back with twice the fire and write twice the words the next day. Mile number 12. It is all in your head. There's a really common running saying that says 10% of running is the physical ability, 90% of it is your willpower. Anyone, whether it was me as a 10-year-old in 5th grade who just wanted a good grade in PE, or whether it's a 50-year-old who has never ran or tried to race a day in their life, everyone, if they put their mind to it, if they persist, if they're determined, if they're passionate about it, they can do it, as long as, health permits. And especially in writing, because you're creating new people, you're creating new worlds, you're creating things that have never been done, that have never been said. All writing is just in your head. You are creating images and stories from little characters on a computer screen or words on a page, and that is just, it's magical and a miracle in and of itself. Mile 13. Sometimes it's just about finishing, and I say this on days when the workouts are really hard. Some of the days you're flying, but on the other ones, it's just about one foot in front of the other, and I can't stress this enough, especially during a half marathon, especially during your 13th mile when you just want to be done. It's about plowing forward. Whether you are walking at that point or whether you still have a bit of juice, even if you're going at like a 9-minute mile pace, you have it in you to keep going, and at that point, it might just be about finishing. Some days, it's not about the PR. Some days, it's not about the goal race pace training. It's just about doing it. Especially with NaNoWriMo specifically, it's quantity over quality, and that just means don't write absolute crap to a point where you can't go back and edit things, but the thing is, as long as you have a solid idea and a solid foundation of what you want to do, then that's fine, and that's what you have to go back and revise, because you have so much time to do that. But the whole point of NaNoWriMo is just to get your general story down and just to do it. To write the darn novel, even if it's the worst thing ever, even if there has no proper punctuation, no quotation tags, who freaking cares? The whole point is just to get it down or get it done, whether it's a race or a book. Now we're on to tip point 1, which is the after of both NaNoWriMo and your half marathon. Pushing yourself like this, pushing your body, pushing your mind, pushing yourself to the limit. It's not normal. After you're done, give yourself a huge hug and a pat on the back and maybe just a treat, whether it's Scrivener or some days off, whether it's a Netflix binge marathon. Tell me in the comments below, if you are a runner, what is the longest race distance you have done? What is your favorite type of workout? What was your favorite race you've ever done? Tell me about who you are as a runner and why you run. Tell me about your NaNoWriMo novel. Tell me what your buddy name is. I'd love to become friends with you. And just, again, tell me your why. If you've done NaNoWriMo before, maybe this is your first time, maybe it's your 50th, maybe you are just like, oh my god, there's this video about NaNoWriMo, maybe I should do it now. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Keep calm, read on, and I'll see you in a video soon. Goodbye! If you enjoyed watching me ramble on forever, feel free to give this video a big thumbs up and leave me a comment below. And if you'd like it even more, hit the subscribe button. All my social media is around my face at SLSBooks, and that's also my writing buddy name. And my previous videos are below me.